Okay, so the fun part. How did this all begin? So after Jaden gave me that light bulb aha moment, I kept it to myself. I enrolled for the class to get my licensing, and I did it all in the evenings and the weekends. I told nobody my plan, and once I got licensed, I went through everything, logo, headshots, and then the biggest thing of all is I committed to I can't believe I'm gonna say this. At the time, keep in mind, I was unemployed for a year, a $40,000 advertising contract. When I say I believe in myself and I'm all in, it's no joke. This is how I felt. I knew that I was just gonna be gangbusters. There was a huge opportunity for me. It was like, imagine, for lack of probably saying this the right way or what would be considered professional or appropriate, it was like an old school gentleman's club, right? And so I saw this piece of the pie that was this perfect niche for me to fit into. And so that's what I did. I signed this wild contract, single mom, raising 3 children by myself, and I committed to $40,000. And I went all in, I did it. And between signing my first contract and closing my licensing, I think it took me about 4 to 5 months before I had my first closed transaction. And so I'm just gonna kind of go through the progression of my first 5 sales. I started in my office. I signed with Coldwell Banker first and foremost because that was the primary brokerage back home in Chicago where I was from. And so it just seemed like the normal progression that would be a great feeder for referrals and whatnot as I was growing my business. And I had reached out to some colleagues, brand new. I didn't want to work under anybody because I knew what I was capable of. And I just asked if I could start working open houses. And so this one agent gave me the opportunity, was working an open house, you guys, and shortly thereafter, I wanna say within 2 or 3 weeks, the pandemic hit. Absolutely insane. I now have launched this business, this wild contract, and schools are closed. And on top of building this business, I now have to figure out how to homeschool my children. So here they are coming with me to open houses. And my first client was a result of meeting a prospective buyer in this building. And to this day, I will never forget, it was 2 days after we had him under contract that the pandemic hit. He was a financial advisor by trade. If you guys can imagine, in the beginning, nobody knew where this was gonna go, so he was panicking. I remember taking the phone call and pacing in the parking lot thinking, oh my gosh, my first contract is gonna cancel on me. Luckily, we held it together, but that was my break into the industry. That was my very first sales contract with COVID hitting smack dab within days of signing it. So that was number 1. Number 2 was probably the most wild real estate story I could ever share. Insane experience. It was a call-in off my advertising, which is amazing, right? So I probably averaged 10 to 11 leads per month. I converted maybe 2 to 3 of them into an actual customer. And this was my very first one from that advertising contract. It was a couple from the other coast who was purchasing a home for their son. And we are under contract. It is inspection day, and the entire family comes for inspections. You know how you see those memes on Instagram where it's like the dad coming with his toolkit and all this fun stuff? This was exactly what was happening to me. I had the mom, the dad, the boyfriend, the girlfriend's family who lived down the street. So here I am, I'm sitting in the family room with the parents. I'm going over some of the contractual things, some of the inspection items, and all of a sudden, we hear this crash. It's like something I can't explain to you. I could still hear the noise in my brain today because we were like, what is going on? Well, I couldn't keep my eye on all the family members because there were so many, and the son actually followed the inspector into the attic. I think it's common sense. I'm a Midwest girl. I don't know. If you go into an attic, you know that you only step on the 2x4s. This perhaps was not taught to him, and he came crashing down through the ceiling. This is my second transaction. We are in inspection. They do not own this home. There is a vintage car parked in the garage within 2 inches. Absolute insanity. So we walk into the garage, huge chunk of drywall hanging from the ceiling. He's down on the ground. An honest answer, I didn't know if I should be more concerned about if he was hurt or the fact that we just damaged this home. I didn't know what to do. So this will forever be the most memorable moment. I drove him to the emergency room with his parents following behind. Once I got them dropped off, luckily he wasn't hurt, I had to figure out how to have the courage to now call the listing agent and say, by the way, you have a gaping hole in the ceiling of this home. I'm pretty sure we didn't damage the vehicle. It doesn't look like there's anything next to it on it. I was terrified. I was probably stumbling over my words. But again, how are these the most memorable? Because that phone call is what broke the ice with a Sotheby's agent, in which we then started forming a fabulous relationship. So kudos to Larry Caruso for handling that with such grace and ease for me. I always knew that was going to be my long-term journey, but quite candidly, I figured I needed years of experience and results before I could even attempt to go in an interview. So planting that seed for as the story goes on. So that was number 2. My third sale, I love this one because these are clients that have turned into dear friends. I think they have done the most transactions with me in terms of repeat customers, but they also represent the most referrals generated from a customer. As a matter of fact, their referral is their friends and this amazing, spectacular property that we are filming in today. So number 3, Anna and Jim, I love you guys so very much. You guys were my second call off that huge contract, that advertising contract that I signed. And I'll never forget it. It was on a prime street here in Marco Island, right on Barfield. It was a prominent location. It was an stately home, and it was my opportunity. It was probably this was my largest contract at this point. So I will say, again, it just was the start of building such a tremendous relationship and having the opportunity to continue to earn their business. Number 4 was actually a referral from my first customer. These are big moments, guys, because truly referrals take so long to generate and build and grow your business. And for me, that my 4th transaction was the brother of my first customer. I mean, talk about exciting. It's a big deal to me. Number 5 is what broke me into the luxury market. And it truly was probably the catalyst and one of the biggest trajectory points for me in terms of my career taking off. And this was, again, a call and lead from that advertising contract. So guys, money well spent. Take the chances in life. They do pay off. It was risky, but here we are. And this was a call and lead for a family looking to relocate into a very prestigious area of Marco Island, into Cape Marco. And I was able to secure the purchase of one of the most luxury buildings on our island into the Veracruz, which has then since propelled me forward in that building. I've since been so fortunate to create amazing relationships within that building, a lot of repeat customers. I have a listing there right now. And so it's just this wild journey. So those are my first 5 sales, breaking into the real estate industry. All of that happened within a 4-month window. So it's pretty incredible if you really think about it. My rookie year, not only did COVID hit shortly there into it, but I closed roughly $19 million in sales that first year. And what it also gave me the opportunity to do was break in that door and earn the right and the opportunity to have an interview with Dave Gape, my managing broker at Sotheby's, which was my dream. I did not think that that was something that would be so near in my future. And this was just the catalyst for my confidence, for the ability to grow this luxury business in this amazing market. And I just love sharing that story with you guys and where it all started and how I got to where I am today. If you guys recall, I started this video sharing that Naples Real Producers was featuring me as a top producing agent in their magazine. And I just wanted to bring you guys along for a little bit of the behind the scenes of that photo shoot. It's been 5 incredible years in this business with my customers and the friendships that I've made along the way. You guys earning your trust and respect while receiving this incredible amount of kindness along the way. You guys have no idea how much it has meant to me. It isn't about just finding success, but this has been my sense of purpose. Yes, this story is about my professional achievement, but more than that, it was about finding my footing in life again. So we just finished our photo shoot with Hannah for Real Producers for the next publication. and just pulling all of this together for you guys. I am so grateful and appreciative of you guys coming along for this journey. It has been so exciting to be and recognize that I have hit this stage of my career. Getting that phone call from Andrew, calling me in and saying, hey, it's Andrew with Real Producers. I remember driving in the car being like, oh my gosh, okay, it's exciting. I get the magazine every month. And, I've been recognized for the top 250 agents for the last 2 years in a row. But to get that call and say, hey, Devin, can you come on in for an interview? Just felt really amazing. And here I am at this stage of my career. It felt like a special moment to bring you guys all in and understand what it took to get here, where my passion comes from, and simply just bring you along with and say thank you. Thank you for following, for all of this, giving me the opportunity to serve you. Truly, I get to do every single day what I love doing. I get to bring my children along for the journey, and I hope that you guys continue to fall in love with me as a person, as an individual, follow my journey, and enjoy this, fun aspect of real estate with me. So that's all for today, guys. Thanks for coming along.